I'm doing all right. Hello there, Kim. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Getting nervous for Wednesday.
Ah, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Your final interview for your licensed lay ministry.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. It's exciting.
Mhm.
Um, so the last 2 weeks I've been at Zion in Packardon filling in for Emma Weaver.
Mhm.
And
And prayers to you, Emma. Hope you're
yes,
healing up well. Um,
and I had a laugh because the one guy said, the one gentleman, Steve, he said, "Oh yeah, I went home and I said to my wife about the new minister that's filling in for Emma." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not a minister." I'm like, "Wait a minute, though.
you're ministering. Yeah.
I'm gonna soon be a minister."
Yeah.
It just it didn't hit me until then when they
Yeah.
said that. I was like, "Wow, oh wow, this is real."
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. That's great.
So then
Yeah.
to think about, the next journey to be deacon, like, wow, like this is so awesome.
Hmm.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And then I said to him, I said, "Don't tell anybody." I said, "But I'm kind of liking this preaching thing."
Well, now you're telling everybody.
I
There you go.
know. Don't
Yeah.
tell everybody, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Seriously. But no, I really am. You know how I used to give you a hard time, but I don't know, there's something about it that just like feels good.
Hmm. It is fun to wrestle with the word and then see what comes out of it throughout the week there.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, so
I think the stressful part comes in wanting to do justice to that word. When you're sharing with the
right.
people, am I doing a good enough job? Am I saying what I should be saying? The process in getting there can be fun and wrestling with it, but then the final part there of delivering, it's like, whoo, God, I hope I'm being faithful. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And I talk to him all the time when I'm doing it. Like, you know, I just want to make sure I'm giving your word as the way you want me to share it, and what do they need to hear this week, and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I just was like, I don't know, I'm just enjoying it, but I'm like, nope, I'm still gonna become deacon. Nope, 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 nope. We're not going word and
Okay.
sacrament. It's still word and service. So
All right. Doesn't mean you can't preach in there yet.
yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
I know, and that's the nice thing, right?
Yep.
I have the best of both worlds
There you go.
in the
Hmm.
end.
Hmm.
So we'll
Hmm.
see.
Sounds good. Well, and we should welcome
Welcome,
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, welcome. Good to have you all here with us. Episode 10.
10.
10. We hit double digits. Yeah, episode 10. The
Yes.
pastor and the hopeful deacon. So
Yes.
good to be with all of you, and thank you for joining us here this morning. So, or whenever you may be listening.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So
So
today, go ahead.
we are going to talk about Sabbath.
Sabbath. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Taking that Sabbath, taking that time that we need with God. Yeah.
Right. It's
So,
amazing to see how years ago, how people would, you know, I wouldn't say celebrate Sabbath day,
mhm.
right? Versus now. A lot has changed over the years.
Well, and you still have many different practices for how to best share in that Sabbath. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a very large variation of that. So different variables to take into consideration, depending
Yeah.
on someone's culture, work schedule, everything else. So with that, so
Yeah.
well, what if we start with what it says in Scripture here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we get in Exodus, we encounter the Ten Commandments. And it says there that for us now, it depends upon how you read those commandments, how they are broken up. For us in the Lutheran Church, the way we break them up, our third commandment: remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, well, here, and what does Luther have to say, right? We're to fear and love God so that we do not despise preaching or God's word, but instead keep that word holy and gladly hear and learn it.
Yeah.
There's some. Yeah. Obviously, the large catechism goes into much more depth there. I'm not going to read out of that, but yeah, that Sabbath day. There's a focus there for Luther, worship. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
worshiping. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. It's all about hearing God's
hearing the word.
word.
Yep.
Yep.
But not that you shouldn't hear that word other days of the week, but that Sabbath day should really be a focus on that word.
Right.
Now, what day is the Sabbath day?
Sunday.
Is it?
In Lutheran
Well,
theology,
and in most most of
Christianity. Yeah.
Christianity,
It is
most, and not
Sunday.
even all Christianity,
Right.
but most Christianity, yes. Sunday we celebrate as that Sabbath day.
Yeah.
There was something kind of important that happened on that Sunday.
It's
Yeah.
because they say that
Yes.
Jesus rose on the first day.
Yes, on that Sunday.
Yep.
Yep,
First day
on
of the
that
week.
the first
Yep.
day. So we celebrate that resurrection every time we gather in worship on Sunday. We are celebrating that resurrection.
Yep.
Every time for worship. So that's why we have it there. But technically, that's the first day. So if there are 6 days of creation, it actually goes Sunday through Friday, and the Sabbath is Saturday. Now, traditionally for the Jewish people, that Sabbath actually begins at sundown. So their day begins at sundown, not at sunrise. A lot of times
Right.
we say, "Oh, we're starting a new day." No, their day ends at sunset.
Okay.
So Sabbath actually begins. You will have many Jewish people who will celebrate their Sabbath, and they will have their worship services on a Friday night
Okay.
as they begin their Sabbath there with that.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's pretty neat.
yep,
Um, and Sabbath comes from Hebrew to cease
mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
to I forget the other word now, but it's basically to cease and rest.
mm-hmm. Yep, yep. Just to take a break from everything that you are doing.
Yeah.
So shall not do anything. Yeah, and that comes up again and again. What is the purpose for the Sabbath with Jesus when he is encountering the Pharisees and they're having discussion? They talk over and over again. What is it there? What's the purpose of
Mm-hmm.
it? Whereas they had turned it into it is a ritual and something you need to do. Jesus is trying to get them to see it as a gift. This is
Mm-hmm.
a gift from God to us to have this day of rest. 6 days God created the world. On the seventh day God rested,
Yep.
and so we need to rest as well. But his debates that he had there, he said, well, you're healing people on a Sabbath, you're doing these things on a day you should be resting. That's work.
Yep.
You shouldn't be doing that. And I love his one discussion that he has with them when he says, uh, if you have a donkey that falls into a pit on Sabbath, are you going to let it there? Or are you going to get it out?
Mm-hmm.
When you see something that's injured, he goes, how much more should we be helping people on that Sabbath when
Right.
we see that they are in need? So he was kind of redefining it rather than making it this a ritual, this uh, thing that was punishable if you broke. It's like, no, this is a gift to be cherishing.
Okay.
Now, where did they get that from, though, that they would have it that way? I want to share some scripture here.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got something here from Exodus chapter 31. God is speaking to Moses. He says, you shall keep the Sabbath because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does not work on it, or whoever does any work on it, shall be cut off from among the people. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. Therefore, the Israelites shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign forever between me and the Israelites that in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. All right. So I can see, reading that scripture, why the Pharisees and that would be really uh,
Hard
dead
on them,
set,
yeah.
hard line
Yeah.
on that. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, we don't do any work. So then the question becomes, how do you define work? What does that look like? Because
Mm.
you actually have people uh, today. I've heard of people of the Jewish faith that they don't do anything on Sabbath. They don't even get out of bed. They're like they do nothing all day
Wow.
long for that day of rest there with that. So it's yeah. How do you define that? What does it look like? How and
And so some of the commentary that I read talking about the Sabbath, they said that, and this is where I reference like years ago, people would go to church and then families would get together for a day of
mhm,
celebration for, being family, and, they would spend a lot of the day together.
mhm,
Um, and that's how they would celebrate the Sabbath. Go to church
right,
and have a big family meal that
mhm,
you visit family.
right.
So
Even
that's
Erica's
where,
family did that. When I first started my first church and got to know all of them, every Sunday they gathered at her grandmother's house. The extended family, every Sunday they
yeah.
had that.
So that's
Yeah.
how it was too for
Mhm,
my husband's family too. Like
mhm,
they would all sit together. Like they would go to church, come home, and their dad would have dinner prepared for them.
mhm,
So that's something that we still do, and we invite Alice and them over
mhm,
to our house. But it's nice to have that
mhm.
togetherness with family.
Well, see, and that's where I think in that scripture from Exodus, there it says it's about keeping that covenant with God, right? Covenant with God. How do, for me, I feel as though I most experience God in relationship with people around me.
Hmm.
So, how am I keeping that covenant? By staying in relationship with those people and sharing together in that time with that, which is what I think Jesus was trying to promote. Hey,
Hmm.
we're embracing people who need to be loved, who need to be cherished. Let's build up the community in that way. And that's what we're doing or what you're doing with your family, what Erica's family was doing when they would get together on
Yeah.
those Sundays there is cherish cherish those relationships, those gifts from God there, and really celebrate them on that day. So
Yeah.
that's what I see
Yeah.
is that.
So I like that because, throughout the week, we are all so busy,
Hmm.
with work and our extracurricular activity, whatever is out there.
Hmm.
We're so busy every day. So there's not a whole lot of family time. And to Sunday where you just sit and you gather and talk and catch up and stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
that's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's great. Now, what about all those like soccer games and everything else on Sundays? Are they honoring the Sabbath, or should they be put to death, as it says in here?
Yeah, I mean, I remember years ago, right? Like those things did not start till after church
Hmm.
was over.
Yeah.
Like when we were like pee wee football and stuff like that. Like those games never happened until 1 o'clock
Hmm.
in the afternoon. So you had plenty of time to go to church,
Hmm.
eat, and then go to the game.
Yeah.
Where now, like it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So
It.
I kind of am like, I think it should be paused a lot. I'm not saying it's bad.
Hmm.
I think it's still good because you're around people, right? You're still
Hmm.
celebrating around people and everything, but you're also, I don't know.
Yeah. I got you. No, because you know what this means. We're getting old. I remember when.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah, that's
know,
what that means.
I know.
There's this. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting to that age where,
yeah. That's it. But and I see that too, and I remember that as well, where things were separated there with that. You had that in the morning for church. Um, I think what it comes down to, though, for families today is making a very difficult decision. What is most important? What do we feel is most important for our family at this time? And I know for Erica and I, it's like, no, we have church in the morning. That's what it's going to
Mhm.
be. Now I say that, yet our kids sometimes work, if they have work or something like that and they've got to go,
Right.
what do you do then
Right.
with that?
There's
So,
some things that you can't help, right? If you have a
mhm,
job that unfortunately opens early in the morning or whatever, unfortunately you have to go, right?
mhm.
And you have to be part of that workforce. Think of doctors and nurses and all this other kind of stuff,
Right. There are
right?
some that we need them to be working
Right.
then. Yeah.
So unfortunately you would have no control. But as a business owner, I would think there's things that you can control. So, like, say if I
Mhm.
was open on a Sunday, oh, you better believe it wouldn't be open till 1, 2 o'clock. But to me, that's how it should be. Like, why do you need to
Mhm.
open ice cream shop, say,
Mhm.
in the morning?
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult. And I think to my dad owned his business, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
were open on Sundays for years and years until finally I got to a point. He's like, I don't need to do this. Why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And he shut down on Sundays. So it was
Yep.
that was an interesting evolution to see that, because my dad's a self-proclaimed workaholic. Um, so for him to make that change was really neat to see. But for those that do have to work, that your work schedule, because like I said, we need nurses, we need doctors, we
Yeah.
need police officers and firefighters. We need people who to keep our lives going. We need people who work then. So what do they do? And I think then it is important that they have a Sabbath at some other point.
Yeah.
They need that day of rest. They need to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and have that time to, one, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just allow their bodies to rest. So it's a
Right.
gift for us that way, but also to reconnect with God, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what Luther was getting at. We have the scriptural aspect there. We have our Lutheran tradition aspect that, yes, we need that day of rest. If God needed rest, we need rest. We're not better than God, right?
Yeah.
But also to take that time to reconnect, and find opportunities for worship outside of a Sunday morning. And that's why I think in churches, finding ways to provide that opportunity for people is kind of something we should be doing. If we
Mm-hmm.
really want to be serving people, rather than making people adjust to what our schedule is, how can we provide something for them
Right.
in that way? So
Right.
that's something for us to consider there. And maybe it's even the recorded worship services and being a
Mm-hmm.
part in that way when you can't be there physically.
Yeah.
Um, but I think taking that time, finding that time for Sabbath is really important. Take, for instance, pastors.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you, I am. Uh, I'm not relaxed on a Sunday. It's like, yeah, I'm leading worship and I'm a part of that worship service and worshiping God, but it is so much different when I'm sitting in a pew and I'm
Mm-hmm.
worshiping, you know. So I think it's important for me as a pastor to have opportunities to worship where I'm not leading, where
Mm-hmm.
I am a participant within that worship, but I'm not leading it.
Yeah.
Just to have a different perspective there, and not have that stress, thinking about, okay, what's coming next? What do I have to do here? What's going on there?
Pretty
So,
soon you can relax
it's just,
more and sit.
yeah, right. There you go.
No, but I mean, seriously though, that is why,
Hmm.
I feel like I was called to do what I do is to help you out. So,
Hmm.
if a Sunday comes and you're like, I really don't want to preach this Sunday. Hey, Kim, how about you take over? Or Julia, or whoever, you know what I mean? How about you
Hmm.
take over this Sunday? Like, yeah, you have that ability,
Hmm.
which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it is good, and I think we all need that opportunity to participate. I think it's important as well for people to have the opportunity to help lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think having different people in those leadership roles in worship, I think, is really important there, because then it's not all on that one person. We are really participating in
Yeah.
that worship space and connecting with God. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that is key there. Now, Sabbath, I don't feel is uh, just relegated to that one day a week. I think we need moments of that Sabbath throughout the week,
Hmm.
times where we are connecting with God. And I know we've talked about prayer
Yep, I
already.
was gonna say.
Yeah, we've discussed that in a previous episode, but I think having that time where we can uh, just disconnect from the world and reconnect with God, even in each and every day, we need that. Taking those little Sabbaths,
Hmm.
I think, is really important there for us
Yeah.
because we can't keep going 100 miles an hour. And I think that's what God is trying to remind us of through that gift. What Jesus is encouraging us to look at here with that
Yeah.
is, you know, you need rest. You need to take care of yourself and stay connected with God. 'Cause it's the best way to take care of yourself is being connected with God.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
So, do you have any specific practices you would like to share that you have for Sabbath?
No, I work hard.
You,
So listen,
ah,
you know, I can only do so much during the week, right? So a lot of things that are chores around the house that we are doing, right?
that's what I was gonna, yeah.
We tend to do them then. So yes, I break my time out in the morning, right? Is church.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have family time,
Mm-hmm.
which is, we sit down, we have a cooked dinner and talk a little bit and everything. And then about 1, 2 o'clock, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, they go home and then we get busy.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put the old clothing on, go out, get our hands dirty.
Okay. Should you be stoned for doing that?
No.
Yeah. No. No, I agree. I agree. Because sometimes, okay, my Sabbath then is actually Fridays. Fridays are my day off, right?
Hmm.
That's to be my day of Sabbath. You know what I do? I have my list of things, my honey-do list. All right,
Hmm.
here you go. And I'm working on that throughout the day. But for me, it feels therapeutic in a way to do that.
Right.
That's how I see it. I'm getting to do something that feels good. It feels life-giving for me
Yeah.
on that day. And I feel like I am connecting with God on when
Hmm.
as I am doing that because I'm able to do these things I don't normally do, and I find myself to be in a this thankful place in my life,
Right.
thanking God as I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I also like to, like, when you do a project, like a
Hmm.
house project or something, you're working towards a goal and you see that end goal,
That is another aspect. Yes.
right? So then you're like, ah. So like this past weekend, we moved my mom down into her apartment now that
I
we had made for
heard
her,
she was telling me
and
about it.
she is
Yeah.
so excited. But there's a lot of other things then that come along with moving her down there. So there's like a lot more projects that end up having to be done upstairs and everything else like that. And my husband's like, no more new projects until we take a vacation. No
There you
more new
go. Good
projects.
job, Tim. Lay down the law.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
he is so adamant about it. I'm like, so we have vacation next week,
Hmm.
but we're not going anywhere because we got to finish the garage that we are building. We need to put the deck in for my mom, including her sidewalk. So yeah, I'm not at work, which is going to be much easier,
Hmm.
but I will be, yeah, that's what we continue to do.
Yeah.
And then maybe take a vacation where I can sit and focus and relax and
Yeah.
get that.
And maybe even in the midst of that, when you're doing that work, just taking the time once in a while in between there, just to sit and be. Yeah. I know I need to set aside time just to sit and read a book at times, just to uh, I don't want to say the word escape, but maybe that's it. I don't know. Escape seems a little strong. I'm not trying to escape life, but just take a break a little bit
Well,
there.
that's the thing
That's
is
yeah.
just taking that break, taking time to sit, relax, and read.
Hmm.
I listen to them on my earpods because I'm always so
Yes.
busy.
Yeah.
I don't take the time to sit and actually hold the book and read.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not still enough.
See, I like listening to them. I have that app Libby through the
Hmm.
library, and yeah, and I listen to my books there. But I listen there because I know I read slow
Ah,
because I'm analyzing everything. As I'm going through, I'm making sure I understand like every word as I'm going, and it's like, really, really, Tony,
yeah,
stop, yeah. And when I listen to the Libby books, it just goes, and I kind of like that. It's like, okay, all right,
yeah,
I don't need to be hanging on every single word in
yeah,
there with it. So
yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. So I think it's okay to be doing some things when they are life giving on our
Mhm.
Sabbath when we have that time. Just not overdo it. That we get to the end of the day and it's like, oh my gosh, I am exhausted. I need a Sabbath for my Sabbath.
Right.
Then it's
Yeah.
defeating the purpose at that
Hmm.
point there. Because Sabbath was made for humankind, not humankind for the Sabbath, as Jesus said. It is a gift to us
Right.
to have that time of rest, to recuperate. Um, I do find it, as I said, you were talking about doing those physical projects where you see a finished product.
Hmm.
That's what I like about my Sabbath projects, if you want to call them
Yeah.
that, is because
Yeah.
throughout the week, normally I'm having conversations with people and doing things, having meetings. There's no finished product for me to see here. Look at this,
Yeah.
what I accomplished. So when I'm able to do something on a Friday, like Fridays, you know what one of my favorite things to do is? Clean our vehicles. It sounds so dumb, I know. But I enjoy that because I finish it, I clean it up, vacuum it out, wash it and
Uh-huh.
all that. And I'm like, look at that. There it is. It's done. You can
Yeah.
see what I did. Not maybe dirty within a day, but you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I usually can't do that with the work that I do. So
Right.
yeah. So for me, that is therapeutic. That is Sabbath for me. And I find myself in a good mental, emotional, and spiritual place as I am doing that.
Yeah.
But I
Because
think what's important is keeping God in the midst of it as I am doing it. That's the key. Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. If I feel like when I do the different things, like I just feel like everything's just more organized too. Like because I don't know. I just like things where they're supposed to be. So for
Hmm.
me, it's like that nice. Okay, this is done, and you can see that. Look how nice that looks. Okay, let's go on to the next, and
Yeah.
look at this. This is all nice and done. And
Yeah. Yeah. What I need to be aware of is I'm not falling into the control aspect of making sure that things are in their place and just right, and that's I need to watch that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I get bad at that.
Yeah, yeah. So because then that's when I am sliding from Sabbath into that's
Hmm.
work. That is
Yeah.
work. And I know I keep talking about stoning. All right, I keep bringing that up. Not not that we should be stoned for that, but I think that aspect of who we are, of our personalities, that part there does need to die in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so that we
Yeah.
can truly have that Sabbath and just be able to let go and just.
Yeah. Because then that mean for me, if I have that hard time of letting go and
Mhm.
not be so perfect, that's me. For me, it's like okay, I'm trying to be God. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
everything has to be perfect and everything has to
yeah,
be exactly like this. But if it's not perfect, it's okay.
it's okay. Yeah,
It really is. It's
right.
world's not going to come to an end and everything.
Yeah. And now take that consider that theological aspect of it is God let go.
Hmm.
And I do not see us as puppets on a string that God is
Right.
controlling here. God let go and said, "Okay, here is this beautiful thing that I have made. Now, let this go." I don't think that means that God is completely hands off. Do I believe God intervenes at certain times?
Hmm.
Yes, I believe that. Can I always define what those moments are? No, I don't necessarily know. There are times I believe, where I think I see God active there in that moment. But I think it also shows God is setting an example for us. Look, if I created all of this and put this whole world into motion, and I can be like, I can let go of that and
Yeah.
let it go. How much more should we be doing that? Just letting go. And that is Sabbath in
Hmm.
and of itself right there. Just yeah. Now I think having those extended Sabbaths as well. Like you mentioned, vacation,
Hmm.
where we can have a couple days like that, a few days is really important. That we need to do that once in a while too, to
Yeah.
have some time like that. Erica and I just went away last week,
Hmm.
and to have those few days just to disconnect there was like, oh wow, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was great. Now, what I find I do though with vacation, with those extended Sabbaths, with that, I usually lose at least 2 days at the beginning and at the end, because that first day I'm thinking about, okay, did I do everything I was supposed to do before I left?
Yeah.
Is everything in place? As I think about it now, I don't think I changed my answering machine since I came back. I think I need to do that. All right, so I'm thinking about that before I leave. Did I change the answering message, my email outgoing messages? Did I
Yeah.
change all of those things? I'm thinking about that stuff. Did I call this person or do that? And then I'll disconnect for a few days in there, right? Until I'm gearing up to go back. Oh, now what's coming up when I get back? What
Yeah.
am I going to be thinking about?
Yeah.
So, what do I need to focus on when I get back there? So I think keeping those things in mind for me are important. That when I'm scheduling days off, try to prepare leading up to it to make those transitions easier for me, that I really can disconnect and feel refreshed and renewed. Yeah,
Right, right. Well, that's
yeah.
how, like on Friday, so we went to Hershey Park with the kids.
Hmm.
So, a lot of emails were coming through and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know, I need to spend time with the kids. Like, I need to focus in the moment and not
Hmm.
have to worry about, I gotta. It's like, no, it's like
Yeah.
focus on family time. They're only young ones. They're only going to want to hang out with you so much longer. So,
Hmm. That's right. Yeah.
just be in that moment with them.
Right. Cherish that. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
So, like, something I always had to remind myself. So, we did take a nice Sabbath day. We did go to Hershey Park. We had a wonderful time with them and
Hmm.
stuff. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice.
And that's what I need to do too. I mean, overall, congregations have been very respectful of my Sabbath on those Fridays. Like I'll even
Hmm.
have people say, "Well, I know you're off on Fridays, so I didn't want to bother you,"
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. That's very kind of people to take that in consideration. Now, if there's a true emergency, I want people to be calling
Right.
and telling me, let me
Yeah.
know. Um, but so I've been very grateful for that aspect of it. But there are times where I will get messages or things if I'm away on vacation or it's my day off. Like, well, I'll tell you what, when I'm back in the office,
Hmm.
we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Talk with you about that then. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's important because I know we need to set the boundaries for our Sabbath. We're the ones who need to decide that. Coming back to that whole question of what do you do about those soccer matches on Sunday morning?
Mm.
We need to be the ones who decide that, and what is going to be most important for us, for our family, and and our relationship with God.
Mm.
Because that's got to be first and foremost. There, where is God in this? And
Right.
so,
And I think, and that's why sometimes I feel like the people who are doing these soccer matches and baseball and everything else like that, I don't think they're looking and they don't put that first.
some, but some do struggle. I've had many parents who come to me with or students in confirmation. Oh, we have this thing for confirmation, and how do we work? And I try to be I try to be flexible and work as much as possible with people, because I don't know their whole decision making process. I don't know. Maybe there are other
Mm.
spots where they are taking their Sabbath and that with this. So,
I don't mean the parents. I just mean the people who are creating these events.
oh, okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
The
got
people
you.
who are creating these events, they have control of that.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and some of that comes with conversation. You know, if I'm a parent and I feel like, no, I want this is when our church offers services. I want my child to be there. Have that conversation with the
Hmm.
coaches and be like, this is difficult for us to make
Yeah.
because of boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
lay it all out there. Yeah. So yeah, if there's change we'd like to see, we need to be that change.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's why there's, for one of my questions on Wednesday is about declining church memberships and stuff like that.
Mm, yeah.
And so you have to write about that, and I wrote that we as a church we need to be more available
Mm-hmm.
and maybe create different services for people
Mm,
that if it doesn't work on a Sunday morning, maybe it works on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night.
mm-hmm.
So create a service, and it doesn't have to be a full-fledged worship service. It could be a small service that
Yeah.
maybe it's only 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about prayer, hearing God's word, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that's what I think. Um, to me, I'm seeing like that maybe that's how church has to, as a church, that's how we have to start changing. It's, you know, what instead of being like, no, this is when church is, and if you're not coming then, well, we're sorry. To create these other aspects to make it more available for people who'd be able to come on
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday night
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
Friday mornings or whatever.
Yep.
So
And I've had congregations who have services on Saturday evenings,
yeah,
and they do that. Um, there's one church I serve, St. John's in Jim Thorpe on the east side. And when we were going through that process of seeing about working together, and they mentioned that service, I said, sure, I can help with that service, but I cannot commit to every week because I enjoy being married. So, yeah. So
yeah,
I just knew that that would be rough. That'd be rough
mm-hmm,
for us,
mm-hmm,
and so I need to make my family a priority within there as well with
yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
but they were creating an opportunity that was important for them, for their church family to have that space outside of a Sunday morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So yeah, need to wrestle with that and figure that out as a
right,
congregation and what is best
right,
there.
right. Because maybe not Sunday mornings are good for people, to focus on that Sabbath. So,
Yeah.
what are other things that we could do for people
Right.
to do that? So,
Right. Well, like I know during COVID, we weren't, I was looking for opportunities for people to just connect because we were
mm-hmm,
so separated uh, from one another. That's when I started the morning prayer, the Wednesday morning prayer. It was during that time to have something in the middle of the week for people to feel connected with others and with God there. So we started
yeah,
that 9 a.m. morning prayer service. So yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. So, but Sabbath. So
Yeah,
it's important to have it
yes,
on a regular basis, scheduled. Schedule it in your life. Take that time for it.
mm-hmm,
If it does not work on a Sunday morning, find a time outside of Sunday morning where it does,
right,
where you can take that time. Um, see that time as a gift, not as a law, but as a
right,
gift. It is something for you. Sabbath is for humankind. So it is a true gift for us. So please cherish that gift. Give thanks to God for that gift. And keep God at the center of your Sabbath.
mm-hmm,
And just find different ways where you can be connecting with God
yeah,
throughout that Sabbath there. Through worship, through prayer, through community.
yep,
I think
yep,
those are really important aspects there of that Sabbath.
yeah,
So, yeah. But, well, that's what I've
yeah,
got today, Kim. How about
yeah,
you?
yeah. I think it was a pretty good message.
There you go. All right.
Good thing
Well,
to talk about.
yeah, yeah.
So again,
Good explore.
everybody, if you have any ideas of what to talk about or you want to bring to us, please you can email hopefulpod@gmail.com. And again, Dakota likes to put it on afterwards too. And if there's anything that we usually reference, we'll put it in the comment section for you guys. But thanks for listening.
Yeah, please share your comments and
Yeah,
reach out. Share your questions. All
yeah.
right. Sounds
All right.
great. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, everyone, and have a blessed day today. God's grace and peace to you.
Bye bye.
Bye.